All right. Well, hello, everybody. Happy New Year. I hope everybody had a safe New Year's transition there and are well into the first full work week of 2025 and just scooching right along here. Speaking of scooching right along, I'll get going. This is Keith Berger with the National Weather Service here in Gaylord with your weekly Tuesday briefing. All right, first quick review of the recent trends here. These are the actual numbers, just over the last 7 days for temperatures there on the left, precipitation in the middle, and snowfall on the right. So as you can see, basically pretty seasonal, pretty average for what's been going on in the last week. This next slide here shows the departures from normal. I would just add the caveat here that notice the top of the headers here. This was running from December 30th through January 5th. So it's catching the last couple days of that mild weather we had during the Christmas break. So if you're thinking, boy, it sure hasn't felt warmer than normal these last couple days, you'd be right. But as things go with averages, it all comes out in the wash. And this is what the numbers look like for our departures over the last 7 days. I would expect next week's briefing to show them cooler than normal. Imagine that. So, all right, moving on. Here's how seasonal snowfall's stacking up, as well as the current snow depth right now. As you can see, Sault Ste. Marie, Gaylord, Traverse City areas are all beating their normal to date thus far, with everyone else pretty much coming in real close to average and where they should be this time of year. Of course, a lot of that was thanks to the real big lake effect snow events we had here over Thanksgiving, and then just the nickel and diamond snow lake effect snow kind of ongoing, adding to those annual totals. So snow depth, as you could probably anticipate, got a big bullseye around Kalkaska County and spreading out from there with little to not much around the Great Lakes. So. All right, and I just saw a note there from you, Greg, that you're apparently not hearing the audio. We did do an audio test before I went on, and we had it here. So I don't know if it's your own personal settings there, or if someone else can confirm that they're not hearing audio, then we might have an issue. But having tested, I'm gonna continue on there. And then with snow depths, of course, the northern tier of the eastern UP there. As you would expect, seeing some of the highest totals in the area. All right. Okay, Rich confirms he can hear me fine. Thank you, Rich, for that. Appreciate it. So, all right, well, what the next 7 days hold in the way of hazards as we go across here. Lots of yellow, and that's pretty much what we're looking at. You notice I subtitled this Unsettled Typical Winter through the foreseeable future, and that's basically what we got. Not looking at much in the way of any huge gangbuster storms, but this lingering lake effect is going to be ongoing, certainly into the middle of the week here. We're looking at more north flow locations, so those would be those places along and west of US 131 kind of becoming more of the focus now. But it is tending to be a real dry, light and fluffy snow, just an ongoing product of our warm waters and our lack of ice cover, which we'll see in a couple slides here. Probably the bigger story is going to be the cold temperatures really starting tonight and going into Thursday. It'd be a good snap of cold air here. We got cold drainage flow coming down from Canada. The eastern UP is probably going to see the worst of it. And it's going to be cold enough that it's not going to take much wind to make it feel even colder. So looking at some wind chills of maybe -10 possible into the Wednesday morning hours for those locations. But a couple cold nights, cold days, and then we start to moderate moving into Friday in advance of a clipper system that's going to be coming through. That system will bring some system snow. Doesn't look like a ton right now, but as you know, the system snow tends to be a little bit snottier, a little more slick, a little more water content. But the thing is, it'll return us back to a relatively weak lake effect snow regime, at least temporarily, as temperatures continue to moderate into the weekend. We're going to be looking at temperatures getting back into the 20s for Saturday and Sunday, maybe even mid to upper 20s for Sunday. So that doesn't give us too much of a overwater air temperature and water differential to create that lake effect snow. So not overly impressed with what we'll see Saturday and Sunday. That said, and it is very early, hence the question marks there, but a couple models, and they're not in good agreement, have a good, decent clipper system coming through on Sunday, probably later on Sunday, more affecting late Sunday into Monday. And the storm track's really uncertain. We've got one model bringing it kind of right overhead, another model off to the south. Hopefully they'll gel as we get closer to Sunday, and we'll get a better picture of what's going to happen there. But I think the probably more significant story of it is they are in agreement on significantly colder air after the passing of that. So, and again, that's going to be kind of in the Sunday to Monday time frame. And this is a long ways off. We all know how things go when you're starting to talk in 7, 8, 9 days out there. But the main reason I bring it up is we won't have another weekly webinar until Tuesday unless we see something happen significant with this next system coming in slated for Sunday, Monday. We might have to have an unscheduled one, but it's not looking like it's going to be big in the way of snow necessarily right now, but another reinforcing shot of cold Arctic air moving in. Hey, it's January. So, but like my bottom bullet says there, no huge accumulation events are anticipated at this time. So we'll just kind of look for that lingering nuisance kind of lake effect through there at times, and then watch those cold air, wind chills and stuff, both Tuesday night into Wednesday and Thursday morning, and then again early next week. The 6 to 10 day outlook really isn't really keying in on what's potentially going to happen next week with that other shot of cold air. It's saying near normal, and as a guy that's been doing this job for 30 plus years, I hate the word normal. I would say more average, and of course that means we're going to have like this warm up we'll have, or this cool down this week. We'll get below normal, we'll bounce back up towards normal, towards average, and then maybe even a little bit warmer on the weekend, but then right back down. So just kind of unsettled and bouncing around there. And of course, when you average out all the numbers over a 6 to 10 day period, it'll come out in that average type, those numbers. So, and then precipitation, not looking at anything overly producing snowfall or rainfall through the next 6 to 10 days. Longer range hazard potential here shows us free of the risk of any heavy snow anyway through the January 14th to 20th time frame, and that would agree with kind of what we're seeing here at the local level. And then those water temperatures. So let's talk about the Great Lakes just a quick minute here. That, of course, the main reason we've been seeing almost constant snowflakes in the air here for the last week in lake effect snow country. The black line is the average water temperatures, and you can see here just poking out, we're just in January, but quite a bit above normal, good 5 degrees or so yet for those water levels, for those water temperatures. So that'll keep lake effect machine running as long as we got cold air to put over that warm water. We'll generate some snowflakes. Combined with the lack of ice that's out there right now, of course, we get some of these colder spells. We'll start making some, but as of yet, we have yet to form any real significant ice out there in the Great Lakes. Okay, so just to review the key messages over the next 7 days for you guys, unsettled, typical winter weather, basically expecting. It's January, so typical through the foreseeable future. No real huge accumulation events expected at the moment. Lake effect snows favoring more northerly flow locations here through midweek along and west of the US 131 corridor. That clipper is going to come through on Friday for some system snow, but the key feature there is returning us back into a relatively weak lake effect snow regime, and that should be temporary, as that next system that's going to be moving in that we said we still uncertain about, but that next system that's coming in late Sunday into Monday, in advance of that, we'll have winds turn more to the west and southwest, ushering a little more mild air before that comes through. But yeah, heads up on that. Just kind of keep your eyes peeled for what's happening there. Stay tuned to the forecast, and if we see something changing on the horizon, we'll be sure to message that out to you all. So, as always, don't be afraid. Don't hesitate to reach out to us for any questions you may have. There's our email, our Facebook, as well as on Twitter. Most of y'all have our phone number. We're here 24/7. So any questions about anything, please don't hesitate to call. And if you have any questions now, if you could either type them in the questions box there, and I'll hang out here for another 60 seconds or so. See if anybody has any questions. Otherwise, hope you all have a great week. Hope 2025 is treating you well and continues to do so.